Hysteria is that I don't have enough LS2s and Marshalls in the room right now to truly approximate this, but we will do our best. Hysteria's long been one of those songs that everybody says it's the Deep Impact, or it's actually a synth, or it has nothing to do with that. It's 27 big muffs in a row run through an old Moog. Or there's all sorts of little tiny conspiracies about this fucking tone, and nobody's been able to figure it out. Here is the tone of my bass with no other effects other than the animato in chain 1 and the muff in chain 2. Now, with that tone, you could probably say, oh, it just sounds like a big ball of mess and mush and everything else like that. Keep in mind, in the studio, this was recorded with a clean track, and it was possibly reamped through an octaver as well as another synthesizer, or it was a MIDI synth. This is going to be Uprising. I've got the filter factory set for what I believe is the appropriate amount of time for the sweep, as I don't have a control voltage pedal to control the resonance or the frequency response at that point. I'm using an octave and I'm using the prunes and custard. I've got the tracks queued up. I actually have the individual separated tracks. This is a no bass version, and I will start the beginning of the song. You will hear the drums and a little bit of guitar clicks going on, and I will come in at an appropriate time, play the whole song through. I will do my best to be able to continue to play the riff on the bass and actuate the filter factory so that it is in time and everything is perfect, and then get out of it and change the settings so that later on in the song I can play the same part and go from there. Realize that this was probably being controlled by somebody else. Shane Goodwin does this live, so Chris doesn't have to do anything. But we're going to try it here, and hopefully I can get you a couple good snippets of everything, and we'll go from there. Completed, but I think I found a close approximation to the synth tone that's used in Plug-in Baby. Again, I know this isn't complete, I know this doesn't sound anything like it in terms of the full round sound, but if you listen to the trail end of the song and the delay that comes out whenever he's holding the note at the end, which I'm just going to run through a couple and then I'm going to hold on that last note, I'll let it decay, and you can see that the oscillators are working in the same light. It seems like it's exactly the same song or the same tone. For this, I have the tone knob on the big muff set at about 3, the volume knob set at about 3, sustain set at about 230. Deep Impact is on setting 6, and it's actually setting 6 and it's a more wild synth. I'll give you that real quick. Big muff. And together. So So I'll give you a couple of the notes and then I'll hang on the last note. Hyper music, I believe, is just straight up animato being played through a pedula into a Marshall rig. It sounds way too close to be anything else. It also has some clean blended into it, and I think this is one of the first songs he actually used the animato in and used it solo because he thought it sounded good. So here's hyper music. Definitely not a standard effects pedal. A lot of these require a clean blend to be added to them to get a richer, more full sound. And I know that a lot of people sit there and like, I don't want to buy a blender. I don't want to spend the money on something that I'm going to have to program. It's simple. The Boss LS2 is a perfect mixer for your bass effects. And I split mine up initially when I first got it and recorded on my first album. I had it split up so there was distortions on one side, synths and modulation on the other, and I would use them as stacking. And then I discovered that it was a little more involved of a process because I needed to have flexibility to show animato and muff on top of each other with a clean blend. For that, we use your standard old direct box. It's just a typical Rapco direct box. I'll plug my bass into here. We send the XLR out to the board, we'll send the output to my board, and then we can either use the direct out of the Peterson, direct out of the Marshall, mic unit cabs, or all four. And we can blend everything together. And that gives a better effect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pan over to a couple snippets of some music that me and my band have been working on that give you an idea of these effects in a different setting. With Hysteria, you had a stacked animato and big muff with clean and octave and everything else. It was like 5 recorded tracks. For the track, the little snippet I'm going to show you, we have 2 versions. In the choruses, I'm using the animato big muff clean stack. And in the solo part of the song, which will bleed into, it'll be about a 10-second little thing, you can hear that there's also an OC2 into animato with the big muff and the clean. So it's still 3 effects, but it's multiple effects on a single chain. I'd like to thank you for watching. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate Anything you guys have to say, any settings you have to add, anything that you found or discovered you want to share, please do comment. I really do want to hear the comments.